for the GLF's newspaper, come out. Everyone, please help me welcome to the stage our next speaker, Martha Shelley.
Hi there. Okay, so before Stonewall, there had been other gay riots. I don't know how many of you are aware of that. Yeah. Okay? But they got nowhere. They died down because nobody organized afterwards. There were also very brave gay people who came out, who picketed at Independence Hall, and pleaded essentially for equality, and they got nowhere because they were trying to get accepted into mainstream America that wasn't interested. After Stonewall, 2 days after, I called the Daughters of Bilitis and the Mattachine Society and said, we have to have a protest march. After Stonewall, a bunch of us met in the offices of the Mattachine Society, and we named ourselves the Gay Liberation Front. And exactly 1 month after that, we had the first protest march. There were 400 people, at least according to the plainclothes police who were observing, and we ended up right across from the Stonewall, but that wasn't the end of it either. Marty Robinson spoke, and then I spoke, and I said, we're going home now, we're not doing another riot, but this is not the end, this is just the beginning. So we organized, we held dances that people could come to instead of going to the mafia-run sleazy bars. Yes. We put out a newspaper, we sold it on the streets. We picketed, we demonstrated, and even more important, we reached out to other organizations. We weren't just for gay rights, we reached out to the Black Panthers. We reached out to the Young Lords, which was a Puerto Rican liberation organization. We reached out to the women's movement, and wherever we found homophobia, wherever we found that, oh no, we don't want to be associated with the queers, we crashed their meetings, and we demanded our rights. We weren't pleading. We crashed the meeting of the American Psychiatric Association and made them stop labeling us as mentally disordered. And because we reached out to all these different organizations, because we picketed and went to anti-war rallies and stood in front of the Women's House of Detention when the Black Panthers were in prison there and when Angela Davis was in prison there, because we made those connections, we changed the left. And then we changed the mainstream. To a certain extent. Obviously, there's plenty of so-called mainstream who have not had their hearts changed. Right now, as you know, as everyone here knows, we are under attack by an administration that would like to put us back, not to the 1950s, but to the 1850s and bring back slavery. What it took to make that change was not people pleading, it was not politicians handing down our rights from Washington, D.C. It was not important people. We were a bunch of raggedy kids with no money. And we weren't scared because we had nothing to lose. heroes. We weren't making sacrifices. I can't tell you what a joy it was to finally be out in the open and say, we're here, we're queer, and shove it if you don't want it. And now we're facing even more problems than we had back then. We are facing the possible end of habitability on this planet. So we've got to reach out to all the kids who are working for the environmental movement. All the Greta Thunbergs, who I wish I could vote for, except she's only 16 and in Sweden. All the kids, one of whom is going to be speaking tonight from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, with the Black Lives Matter movement. So we've got the environmental crisis as the most important one. The second most important crisis is the fact that there are 26 individuals, 26 so-called human beings, who own as much as 3.5 billion people on the planet. They own as much as half the planet. And that, they gotta go. Yes. I am volunteering every one of them, plus Mr. Trump, for the Mars One expedition. I will happily give them one-way tickets. So we've got to fight the vast economic inequality that's much worse than anything we have ever seen. That's as bad as anything in the days of the pharaohs. We've got to fight those individuals and the interlocking corporations that they own that control the elections and the politicians and Congress. Every one of you has something to contribute. There are no individual heroes. There's no savior who's going to come down and hand you your rights. Well, every one of us, every one of you has got to stand up. Tonight we celebrate, tomorrow we celebrate, Sunday we celebrate, get laid, get drunk, have a party, and then go home and roll up your sleeves and fight.